for today's meeting. I welcome you all for the 208th meeting of Personal Growth Advanced Leadership Toastmasters Club. Our promise: as a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly to prepare all my projects to the best of my ability. Our mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning and experience in which members are empowered to enhance their communication and leadership skills, personal growth, and achievement of their Toastmaster goals. Our theme for today is empowering people. With this, I announce this meeting as open and hand over to Toastmaster of the Day, DTM Kaushal. Please give a huge round of applause to DTM Kaushal.
Thank you very much, Madam Sergeant at Arms, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Thank you for coming to our meeting today. As the Sergeant at Arms noted, our theme is empowering others. That's a great theme for us because we empower others just by participating in Toastmasters. By participating in Toastmasters, we're encouraging each other to build better communication skills, and that is empowering, especially when guests come to learn about our program. Then we can empower them to join the program and earn the benefits of it. The theme of empowering others reminds me of a book that I am currently reading, which is On Call. It's by Anthony Fauci. You might remember Dr. Fauci from news headlines. As the COVID pandemic was getting underway, he provided Americans with a lot of, the world really, with a lot of useful advice and information. And even before he wasn't involved in helping us overcome the COVID pandemic, he was involved in the search for finding effective treatments for AIDS. He took it upon himself to reach out to people suffering from AIDS and therefore showed them that the country cared about their suffering and wanted to find a solution. So he empowered others by reaching out and serving them. That is a great lesson for us all. Do we still need a timer? I saw that in the chat.
Yes.
All right. Is anyone available to step up as timer?
Okay.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Teresa. I think what I need to do is ask our, pardon me while I look at the agenda. I should ask our grammarian, Aska, to provide us the word of the day. Aska?
Yeah, word of the day is zeal. Zeal refers to intense enthusiasm and passion towards a cause or a goal. An example is, despite the setbacks, his zeal for personal growth made him achieve new heights.
Zeal. Great. That's a great word for today. Thank you, Aska. I would now like to introduce our first speaker of the day. Our speaker number one is Anvita Hegde. She will be speaking from the Dynamic Leadership Path from the project Understanding Your Leadership Style. The title of her speech is Exploring Different Leadership Styles, A Path to Effective Leadership. And in her speech, she'll be asking the question, is leadership one size fits all. So please help me welcome Anvita Hegde for Exploring Different Leadership Styles, A Path to Effective Leadership.
One size fits all. Is this leadership? No, it isn't. Good day, Toastmasters. Leadership is a dynamic concept. Different situations call for different approaches. By understanding our leadership style, we can grow personally as well as professionally. We can also empower those around us. Today, let us explore 4 different leadership styles. First, we have the autocratic leadership style. This is a top-down approach. Here, the leader makes all the decisions without consulting others. This style may not be that popular, but when it is used in the right situation, it can be very effective. For example, when you have to take quick decisions. Imagine a firefighter in the middle of a blaze. He cannot be a democratic leader and consult others. He has to take decisions quickly because the fires have to be put out immediately. Here, autocratic style is very useful. In the second instance, wherever there is a team which needs strong guidance, then this style is very effective. Once, I was working under an autocratic manager. It was a high-pressure product launch. He used to control all the decisions himself. He would say, "Hey team, I want these 2 tasks to be completed today. Next week, you have to complete these 5 tasks and it has to be done this way." How dominating, I would think. However, because of his leadership style, we were able to meet all the tight deadlines without any confusion. The second leadership style is the democratic leadership style. It is all about shared decision making. When we encourage other members to share their inputs, they have a sense of ownership. I usually follow this style of leadership at my workplace. 3 weeks ago, I was asked to lead a design team. We were designing user interface of a product. I told all my team members, "Hey team, come on, come up with great ideas. We will choose one, whatever is the best concept, then we'll proceed with that." My team members reached out to me with a lot of zeal. We voted for one best idea and implemented it. As a result, our user interface looked very beautiful. Whenever collaboration and creativity is important, use democratic style. Thirdly, we have the transformational leadership style. A transformational leader has a crystal clear vision. He pushes his team members to go above and beyond. He is very innovative and challenges the status quo. An example is Elon Musk. That's how he inspires his teams at Tesla as well as SpaceX. In the future, I want to become a transformational leader because they can make a big difference in this world through their innovation. To become a transformational leader, we have to think out of the box and look beyond our immediate task. Last but not the least, we have the servant leadership style. Here, the focus is more on providing service instead of being served. The leader removes obstacles from the path of his team members and empowers them to achieve their individual goals. Whenever I took up any club officer role in Toastmasters, I followed the servant leadership style. An example of a famous servant leader is Mahatma Gandhi, who led India to independence by using the philosophy of nonviolence, sacrifice, and selfless service. Dear fellow leaders, to become a great leader, we have to adapt our leadership style depending on the situations, the people we lead, and the goals we want to meet. Whether it is the decisive action of an autocratic leader or the collaborative spirit of a democratic leader, or the transformational vision of a transformational leader, or the selfless service of a servant leader. Each style brings its own strength to the table. Choose your style effectively because this will help us navigate through difficult challenges, have clarity in our vision, empower our team members, and work towards our goal with zeal. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Anvita, for giving us that speech, teaching us about the different leadership styles and comparing and contrasting them. I especially liked the real world examples that you used to demonstrate those concepts. I always like to hear how the things we learn about are practiced in the real world. Our second speaker is Lola Taraiva. She'll be speaking from the presentation mastery path with the evaluation and feedback number 2 speech. The title of her speech is Silencing the Disc Ending Voice, Unleash Your True Potential. Is that right? Okay.
Descending voice. Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Silencing the descending voice. Sorry.
Oh, the dissenting voice. Okay. Silencing the dissenting voice, unleash your true potential. This is the second time she is presenting this speech to complete the level 1 on presentation mastery. Her speech is about self-limiting doubts, how they are formed, and how she overcame her self-limiting doubts. So help me welcome Lola Taraiva for Silencing the Dissenting Voice. Unleash your true potential.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster Koshel. Hello, everyone, dear Toastmaster and guests. Did you ever have in your life a moment you craved for this moment? You prepared and you waited so many days, sleepless nights, weeks and months, possibly years. The moment you had this moment, you freeze. You cannot say anything. You cannot show your own capabilities. And something whispered in your ear. You cannot do that. What if you fail? Oh no, that's impossible. This whispers are self-limiting doubts. Usually they are formed from our negative experiences, past mistakes, past failures, that make us believe that we can do the same mistakes we did in the past. In order to unleash our true potential, our true capabilities, we have to let them go. And in order to overcome them, we have to notice the thoughts and why they are forming and how They are manipulating us. The self-limiting doubts are invisible chains that hold us back from reaching our true potential. And usually it can be external forces. For example, when I was 19 years old back home in Uzbekistan, I used to face so much critique, so much discrimination that it affected my confidence. It affected to see my true potential. And in order to overcome them, at that moment, I used to collect a lot of movies, English books, and I saw one movie that shaped my personality. It opened my eyes. What is, how your words, how your thinking can unlock the whole world for you. The way you think is going to form your reality. If you think you are right, you are right. If you think you cannot do this, you are right. You cannot do this. The way you think is going to become your perception. It's very important how we program ourselves. Back home in Uzbekistan, I watched one of the powerful movies. It's called The Great Debaters. It's about three great debaters, and it's based on true historical events that happened around 1930s. Back then, it was a segregation time, and Black people, they did not have the rights the same as white people. They faced so much challenges and so much discrimination. The moment the white person did something illegal, he could go to the jail and he could go to the court. They're gonna see whether he was guilty or not. But the moment the Black person was committed the crime, white people, they could just kill him. It was not fair. So when the great debaters, they started to debate Black colleges, and then they started to debate Harvard College. On their way to the Harvard College, they saw the horrible scene. They saw a Black person being burned by angry white farmers. It does not matter what kind of crime this person committed. Burning him, it was very unfair, and without any court, it was so much unjust. And the great debaters, they got so much fear in them. Even they tried to hide because they could risk their life because of their skin color. But no matter what, these great debaters, it didn't stop them. They knew when they doing this debate, they are risking their life, possibly the life of their relatives, their communities. But it never stopped them. What matters is when you fight for the justice, when you make the world better, then when you find the world and then you leave this legacy. One of the powerful quotes from this movie is a quote between a coach and his students. It goes like this: who is a judge? The God is judge. Why is he God? Because he decides who wins or loses, not my opponent. Who is your opponent? He does not exist. He's a descending voice to the truth that I speak. If you're fighting, if you're witnessing so much unfairness, you don't have any opponent. People with knowledge, religious people, no matter what they claim, if they stand with injustice, if they justify their moral evilness, it does not mean God is with them. God with the people who stay with justice. And no matter what they say, if you are true and you're fighting for the justness, and it does not matter, you are right, and you don't have any opponent. And this quote, it taught me a very learnable lesson. There's a powerful tool that ever existed on earth. It's the power of knowledge. Words have a power. Be careful what you say. The way you say it is going to form your reality. And no matter people can really oppose you, they put you down because you're fighting. They can never understand your vision. It never should stop you. If you are true for yourself, you're making the world better, not only for yourself, but for the people to come, then you are right. You don't have any opposition power. You have to keep going. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Koshal.
Thank you so much, Lola, for that inspiring and powerful speech. That's a message that a lot of us need to hear, especially the people in my country, USA. Uh, we're kind of paralyzed by self-doubt because of the unstable political situation, but we need to hear that message you said, and because we need to fight. Justice is on our side. It's not Justice is not with the leadership, so we need to fight them, and we need to overcome our doubts because we are right. I would now like to ask our table topics master, our club president, Fatima Afia Brigden, to please
Hey, good day.
distinguished
Thank you,
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster. Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening, the day, DTM, Kaushal. So today's theme is empowering people. And we were just talking about this very topic in my doctorate class. And we defined as a group that empowering people means giving responsibility to others. It doesn't matter in working place, whether it's a personal life, we need to give the power to people so that they can make decisions. So that's the meaning to me. It made it so powerful. So along with that line, I have questions tonight. And of course, the word of the day is zeal. Please try to use it. With zeal, I'm going to begin the session. As we are small group, so I believe all of us can speak. Who shall I invite? Okay, Shomesh, can you share a time when someone empowered you to achieve something that is most crucial to your life, that left a great impact? Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Topics Master. A great question. I would say it is my father, because he has always made and ensured that I keep the zeal intact in terms of whatever has to be done. So a few examples that I can give is in terms of, for example, creation of a bank account when I was very young, quite young. So that means that you're trying to empower, a young person in terms of understanding how the financial aspects should be managed. So that is an empowering aspect. Other big example that comes to mind is when I was planning to make the decision to come to Ireland. So that was again kind of a big empowerment in terms of allowing me to make that decision that you can go far off and you can be. This is the thing, like when we are parents ourselves, we come to realize what kind of pain they go through when they are making these kind of empowering decisions on behalf of their children. So that would be my answer. Over to you, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Sumesh, for sharing such wonderful experiences of your past childhood and the person who impacted and left you with the zeal in your life to empower yourself, which I'm sure you're going to pass on to your children as well. Thank you so much. Let's go for the second speaker. Lola, what does empowerment mean to you as a definition?
Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima. Empower, it means to give validation for people, to make them valued. For example, all my life, I struggled with my self-confidence until I understood that I have a power and I don't need any validation from other people, especially when somebody critiques you and when they make it personal, it gets in you. It taught me one very powerful lesson that whenever you're making critiques, don't make it personal. Like make it more objective and give encouragement. The way you want to be treated, you should be treating others. And the way I struggle with criticism is like person who was criticizing me. And that person, she felt power of belittling me or belittling others. That's what narcissistic people they do. They feel power by putting down others. And what I found is that whenever I see people struggling, because you never see the other side of the iceberg, you have to be always respectful, even if it means the person who you are competing with. You have to give your critiques in a more respectful way so it can really value them. It can give them power. Thank you. Back to you. Thank you so much, Ms. Fatima.
Thank you so much, Lola. And I agree with you, empowering people can be so powerful. It can break you or make a person really so great that they can leave the world a better place. I think this one suits Kaushal. How does empowering others benefit society as a whole? Over to you.
Madam Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters, I've heard it said, I think the person's name is Eleanor Roosevelt, that never doubt that the efforts of a small group of people can make a huge difference. Indeed, it's the only thing that has ever made a difference. So I think it's really through individual leaders and messages like what we heard in Lola's speech that empower others and inspire them to unite in a cause. And I think back to great leaders like like Gandhi, as was mentioned earlier, like Martin Luther King, who empowered others by giving them by inspiring them with zeal. They appealed to the the poorest people, people who really had nothing except their own selves, and he showed them that you can you can fight against the most powerful forces in the world, and you can win. And you don't have to have weapons, you don't have to have money, you don't have to have an advanced educational degree. You just have to believe in yourself and be there for the fight, and you can win. So that is what empowering others can do. That is how society improves, by empowering the weak to challenge the strong. Madam Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Kaushal. I love the fact you described exactly how powerful is individuals if we can really empower the weak to create a society that is empowered, and that actually makes a nation strong and become what we would hope one day, all the nations across the world will have that kind of leaders in each nation so that we can be united together and stand strong. That's my hope. Let's look at the next question. Teresa, this is for you. Who is a figure that you believe has empowered many people and why? A figure that you believe has empowered many people and why?
Hands down, Madam Table Topics and fellow Toastmasters, it is Napoleon Hill. He has created so many leaders. He has empowered so many leaders. And when you think about the leaders that you might hear of today, Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson, and a few more, they have all sat at the feet of Napoleon Hill. Even myself, for many years, I have read and read and read. If you want to know about a book that changed my life, well, it didn't. But I kept reading it, hoping that someday it was going to change my life. And I believe that that is leadership. Leadership does not happen overnight. If you know the story of the Velveteen Rabbit, it takes years, as the author says, to make something real. It's not an overnight sensation. It doesn't just happen overnight, but it does just happen. And you finally feel that you are important. So hands down, as I said, Napoleon Hill, he has created so many leaders. He has empowered so many people to go ahead and to do what they want to do with their life. If you have not read Think and Grow Rich, even if you don't want to be rich, but who doesn't? He has so many ideas for you to move forward on your life journey. Back to you, Madam Table Topics.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Yeah, Think and Grow Rich. This is a book promoted very well by Teresa. We're going to need to do a workshop, I believe, on this.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the fact she brought, of course, I have read before, and I just got this as a read, so I'm going to read again, and Joan is reading. So let's grow rich in terms of being great leaders. Thank you so much for encouraging us to read the book. Now let me invite John Khalid. Table topics, man. How can small acts of kindness empower others? Small acts of kindness.
Small acts of kindness. I think small acts of kindness can develop at any time. Today, me and Fatima are on our way, as an example. We're on our way to Nilai, which takes about 2 hours on the train from KL, where we're living. It's towards Johor. And I asked her a question. And I said, why don't they have margarine flies? Now they have butterflies. So why don't they have margarine flies? So we discussed for about half an hour. And I even looked it up when I got back because I wanted to know how come they called it a butterfly. Good. And evidently, it's been around so long in history that nobody knows why it's called a butterfly, believe it or not, because it goes so far back that people started calling it a butterfly. But I said, well, whoever thought of it, why did he think butter? He could have thought of anything else, like a, a coloured fly. As I said to Fatima, a margarine fly. Why did they come up with butter? So Fatima was crawling around the floor, laughing her head off, sort of thing. So these acts, as I say, little things that happen in life to cheer us up. And I think those acts are things that make us feel good in our lives and we get happiness from it. Oh, yeah, peanut butter. Yeah, jellyfly. Yes, there's some serious, interesting things around, and I'd like to know why they're called certain things. And that's what goes in my head. Why? Back to you, Fatima.
Thank you so much. That was we had long 2 hours of journey, and that was very interesting conversation we had. I said, I'm going to put on social media tomorrow. And I had tears. It's so funny. John can be out of blue. We come up with these conversations. Okay, we have last speaker for tonight, and that's Aska. I think this really suits you, this question. And I'm sure you can respond with zeal like the rest of the speakers. What are some ways we can empower young people today? Aska, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Table topics, Master Afia. Young people today, I guess we have to think outside the box to empower them. They are not from our age. They are a new generation. So I guess there are a lot of things we can do to empower them. First of all, a lot of times we hear about anxiety. They are an anxious generation. I firmly believe that we need to address their mental health aspect of how they think of themselves. Something that I give a lot of importance is that empowering them through positive inner voice, that teach them how they can talk about them, how they can address their self-belief, how can they make it change the negative self-talks they have. That is one thing that we can do in order to empower them because they need it. Another thing is that teaching them not just teaching them, showing them, role modeling them on how they can practice leadership. Self-leadership is very important. At the same time, working for self-growth is important. We need to be role models to empower them. We need to have that zeal so that we can bring out that excitement and zeal from them. Many times we hear about Gen Zs, like they are not uh, like us. They are not serious about things. They are not committed. So we need to empower them so that they can bring out the best in them. Hence, I strongly believe that we need to be role models. We need to teach them, we need to show them how they can think positively, change their negative self-talk so that we can empower them. We can have a better generation equipped to lead their life. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Fatima.
Thank you so much, Oscar. And I'm one who believes that we should stop blaming the young generation and start taking responsibility to empower them. With that, that concludes the table topic session, and I appreciate all the speakers who spoke with zeal and with zealous. Thank you so much, and let me hand the floor to DTN. Teresa, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics. As for generally evaluator this evening, I am going to call on two very zealous evaluators because they are evaluating two very zealous speakers. So our first evaluator this evening is going to be Distinguished Toastmaster Somesh. Please welcome Somesh, evaluating Anvitha.
Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Anvita, congratulations on a great speech as usual. You've done a great job. Just to remind what is the project description in terms of this project, understanding your leadership style. So this project is designed to introduce the different styles of leadership and help Anvita identify her preferred style. And the purpose of the project was to identify her primary leadership style or styles. So this was a project description, and well done, Anvita. As I said before in the beginning, you have informed us about the different leadership styles. Like, for example, the authoritarian, the democratic, the transformative, and then the servant leader. So very nicely introduced. Your pace was perfect. It was not too fast. It was not too slow. It was exactly how it should be. You had good explanations of each and every leadership style. And you also had your trademark way of explaining things in terms of using vocal variety, in terms of how your authoritarian boss was talking and how you were talking to your team. So all that adds to the speech that you're giving because it brings in that variety. And when there is variety, people are always inclined to hear what the speaker is going to say. Generally, what happens is when things become monotonous, the zeal is lost, both by the speaker and the audience. No one feels any zeal about the speech. So that is really good. What I noticed in this particular speech was you actually had a lot of theoretical background to what you were speaking. And I found this quite different from the previous speeches that you have done, where your main way of speaking was the story. Story was your main hero in your previous speeches, and theory was in the background. So it was quite interesting to see you do the other way around. But what I would kind of recommend as taking a speech to the next level is try and give us a story, for example, where your leadership style worked and sometimes it did not work. Give a good example, and you can lessen the theoretical side and have more a story side of your own personal experience, which you always do very well. So that's what I kind of found as this particular speech. This is the recommendation that I have. Otherwise, a great speech, and thank you very much for informing everyone how a really great speech should be done. And keep speaking. Over to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Somesh, and for giving those glow points as well as some points to grow on. I particularly liked how Anvita introduced it with one size fits all. That was very poignant, I thought. And I agree with the story part, because I think in the third one, you gave a quote instead of telling us your story. I wanted to hear how come you were that servant. I wanted a little bit more, I think, on that. So well done. And just in the evaluation, as I am studying to be a good evaluator, remember to make that summary at the end of your evaluation so that we get that gist. If you're in a contest, that's I think about 30% of your mark, but we're not in a contest here. Our second evaluator this evening is, or this morning, or this afternoon, is Distinguished Toastmaster John evaluating Lola. Please welcome John.
Thank you very much, the General Evaluator Teresa. Lola, I've seen you come up, up since you've been actually speaking in our club. And I thought this was a very particular speech because you had elements of NLP. I don't know if you've done NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, because you will find self-limiting belief. People's thoughts react to their actions, or their actions on the thought. So I thought that was very good, because today I was doing some NLP. So this sort of jumped out at me. I thought, oh. So I thought that was very, very good. You started off very good. You gained my interest. And if anybody in the audience knew anything about NLP or anything like that, they would have been pulled into your speech. You've got a lot of, what I call it, zeal, because your enthusiasm when you're actually speaking. And I can see that by the way that you are coming up to the mic to actually speak and then pulling back slightly. So I could see it resonated you, what you were talking about, the enthusiasm in your voice and everything like that. And you, at one time, I went, "Ooh," because I thought you were starting shouting. And I could see there that that particular area was very emotive to you, an emotion, and that emotion came across. And I think to myself, I thought, I'm getting emotional now because of what you were saying. And that's the idea for a speaker, to get their audience and get them to have the same emotions that you're talking about. So I thought that was very, very good on your part. So I enjoyed the speech. It was well put together, the speech. The only thing that I would want to pull you up about is try and come back a bit. Now I'm forward. You can see if I bring my hands up, it's going to be difficult because I'll be out. But if I sit back, I can actually bring my hands up a bit more and use my hands, because sometimes you're using your hands and they would drop it. Yeah. And because you were quite expressive in your language, yeah, you can use your hands to emphasize that, because you're using your voice, your tone, but a lot of communication is done non-verbally. I can see by your face, the expressions on your face were non-verbal, but the gestures you will need as well. So very, very well done. I enjoyed your speech again. Just look out for the presentation and try and use more gestures. But a very good speech, and I like the emotion that you had when you were speaking. So well done there, Lola. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, John, for your speech. Oh, the zeal of feeling that the timer is going to go off, like blow up on you. I know how that happened this week. Anyways, great glow points. I loved how you said about emotion because I was right in there. I was thinking, yes, yes, yes. So way to go on that. The two things that I would have picked out, and you weren't the timer, Lola, you had 7 seconds. You took 7 seconds for your intro, your niceties like greeting the Toastmasters. That can really be a problem later on in your speech. It didn't because you were much over 7 minutes, but and the second thing was you talked about a movie that changed your life. Now, I wasn't sure if it was The Great Debater or not. Was that the movie that changed your life? Okay. So that didn't come out clearly to me. But other than that, wonderful speech, wonderful evaluation, John, as well. Remember to give that summary at the end, say what you said, and get it and give that to the speaker. I would now like to call upon our grammarian for our use of words and how zealous or how we presented with zeal this evening. Please welcome Lola.
Me? Thank you, DTM Teresa, General Evaluator. I would say I was feeling zealous. It was such a zeal because we used it 16 times. So a huge round of applause for everyone for using the word zeal 16 times tonight. That's wonderful. I just loved it. I just loved counting and was wondering, okay, when would be the next time? I was just hoping that it would cross 15, and yeah, that happened. As usual, I didn't find any grammatical errors because we all are doing so well, and I congratulate all for that. There are a lot of good words that I heard, good phrases, which explains the theme of the day, and it is so motivating. So I just noted some of the phrases that I heard, like having a crystal clear vision, thinking outside the box. These are from Envita's speech, and having a clarity in our vision. And from Lola's speech, I like the phrase, the way you think is gonna form your reality. I felt that it's very powerful. One thing that I would suggest, Lola, is that in your speech, first of all, a great speech, but sometimes you use the filler word "and" to begin sentence in between two sentences. So if you focus more on that, I'm sure you will improve. And I have seen, I just want to mention, I have seen such a great speech today, as DTM John said. So that is something that I wanted to highlight. And some other phrases that I noticed is like, we can't see the other side of the iceberg. That is something that we need to think of, right? And empowering the weak to challenge the strong. And success, it doesn't happen overnight. I would say all of the speeches were great, and we used a lot of good words, good phrases in today's meeting. So well done all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Granarian, for your very comprehensive report. And I must say, we have a young person leading young people. So I feel, oh my gosh, like, because when you said how you are leading young people, I thought, oh, she's a very young person. I'm so happy that she's with us because you do have that empowering perspective. So thank you. For our timing this evening, our timers report, our first speaker, Anvitha, you were 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Our second speaker was 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Somesh at Table Topics was 129. I apologize, I missed timing you. So I sort of added a little bit. Lola, 145. Kaushal, you were 153. I was 2 minutes. John, you were 230. Aska, you were 220. Our first evaluator, Somesh, was 3 minutes, and our second evaluator was 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And for my general evaluators report, great meeting. We really didn't start on time. Please remember to get here. We were waiting for our Toastmaster, but honestly, it really helps, even if you can get in a couple of minutes earlier, just so that we can have a little chat and things like that. Other things with table topics, please wait until someone says it's your turn. It's really difficult when we have two people speaking at the same time. Been there, done that. I know how easy it is. Also with table topics, the sooner you tell who you're calling, the sooner everyone else stops listening. So nobody gets that extra benefit. I know you have particular questions for particular people, but you could give the question and then say, okay, John, you're on. So that makes everybody else think, I better be listening to this question. Great evaluations. Thank you very much for that. Great speaking. Well done. Always impressed. And yes, I think it's important that we know the purpose of a speech, because some speeches really need to have that purpose in there. So we should be thinking about that. Overall, great meeting. And I would now like to turn it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Kaushal. Thank you, Kaushal.
Thank you so much to the evaluation team and to our topic master before that, and of course our speakers for filling us with zeal today. We had an inspirational meeting. Does anyone have any announcements before we adjourn? No announcements? All right. Would someone like to take a photo of us as usual?